When President Trump posts that President Zelensky is a dictator without elections, what are you thinking?
I think President Trump is very upset at President Zelensky, and in some cases, and rightfully so. Look, number one, Joe Biden had frustrations with Zelensky. People shouldn't forget it. There are newspaper articles out there about how he cursed at him in a phone call because Zelensky, instead of saying thank you for all your help, is immediately out there messaging what we're not doing or what he's not getting. I think the second thing is, frankly, I was personally very upset because we had a conversation with President Zelensky, the Vice President and I, the three of us. And we discussed this issue about the mineral rights. And we explained to them, look, we want to be in a joint venture with you, not because we're trying to steal from your country, but because we think that's actually a security guarantee. If we're your partner in an important economic endeavor, we get to get paid back some of the money the taxpayers have given, close to $200 billion. And it also, now we have a vested interest in the security of Ukraine. And he said, sure, we want to do this deal. It makes all the sense in the world. The only thing is I need to run it through my legislative process. They have to approve it. I read 2 days later that Zelensky's out there saying, I rejected the deal. I told him, no way, that we're not doing that. Well, that's not what happened in that meeting. So you start to get upset by somebody. We're trying to help these guys. One of the points the president made in his messaging is not that we don't care about Ukraine, but Ukraine is on another continent. You know, it doesn't directly impact the daily lives of Americans. We care about it because it has implications for our allies and ultimately for the world. There should be some level of gratitude here about this. And when you don't see it and you see him out there accusing the president of living in a world of disinformation, that's very counterproductive. And I don't need to explain to you or anybody else, President Trump's not the kind of person that's going to sit there and take that. He's very transparent. He's going to tell you exactly how he feels. And he sent a message that he's not going to get gamed here. He's willing to work on peace because he cares about Ukraine. And he hopes Zelensky will be a partner in that and not someone who's out there putting this sort of counter messaging to try to, hustle us in that regard. That's not going to be productive here.
Holy Toledo. Look at this trend line here. U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. Back when the war began, back in February of 2022, it was just 7%. Up like a rocket ship. My goodness. Up now in February of 2025 to 41%. And the clear majority of Republicans, and of course Republicans are in charge of the U.S. government now, 62% of Republicans say that the U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. What a difference from just 3 years ago. I can remember, John, all those backyards in the United States with those Ukrainian flags, far fewer of them today, as Americans' opinions on Ukraine have changed dramatically.
What about opinions of the Ukrainian president?
Right. Obviously, if you would expect changes amongst the public on feelings towards Ukraine, feelings towards Zelensky have changed also dramatically. Look at this. Confident Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Back in 2022, it was the clear majority, 72%. Through the floor by 2024. Just 48% of Americans say that they're confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs.
I'd say it's fallen through the floor, and I think it's actually less than that, because let's see if they say when they took that poll. I'm looking on it. Doesn't say when they took it, but I guarantee you a lot of that. Oh yeah, hold on.
Affairs.
2022 to 2024. That's well before Doge. Well before. So that number going from 72 to 48 was before everything we're seeing right now. If Harry, his boys do that number now, I bet you it's in the teens. People are like, hell no, no more money to Ukraine. That's it. We're done. I just happened to look at that and go, wait a minute, that's 2024. So that's before Trump even took office and Doge started showing everybody what the heck is going on. I would venture to say that number, if you put up, February of 2025, is probably in the 18 to 19%. I don't know who out there still wants money going over to, Zelensky. No, we're done. We're absolutely done.
GOP confidence has also plummeted dramatically. Now the clear majority of Republicans are not confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Really a real trend line, ones you rarely see in the American public when it comes to Ukraine and Zelensky. Confidence in both going down through the
Look,
ground.
some allies of President Trump have targeted Zelensky with harsh criticism over the last few years, and it could be that that's having some impact here.
Absolutely. The Republican establishment, the Republican electorate has moved as the Republican establishment and Republican leaders have moved on.
All right, let's talk about the idea of...
Hold on a second. The opposite of that number is 52%. So that means that a lot of Democrats have crossed over as well and went, no more. We don't want any more of this stuff.
a peace deal, and again, the way you ask this matters, but go ahead.
The way you ask it is important, so we can talk about this a little bit. So the poll question essentially is, do you support a Russia-Ukraine negotiated peace deal? The vast majority of Americans, this is what they want. 78% say that they support this idea versus just 16% oppose. Of course, as we were talking about, does this question actually get at what's going on right now? I think you would say that it probably does not necessarily get what's going on right now.
No, the question asked, do you support a Russia-Ukraine negotiated peace deal? Ukraine's not there at the negotiations in Saudi Arabia this week, so the people were not asked this. And I do think, in general...
I don't think anybody cares whether little Zelensky is at the peace meetings. The adults are there. The little puppet who's been told what to do and how to do it by Biden and the deep state and these other countries, we don't need to talk to him. You don't bring him from the children's table and let him sit at the adults' table. It's over. It's done. Now it's just a matter of what does Russia want? Okay, here's what you're going to do, Zelensky, because if you don't, we're out. You're not seeing another dime from the United States. Good luck with Europe. Good luck.
If you ask anyone in any poll, do you support peace? Peace tends to rate pretty highly.
Peace tends to win. You rarely get 78% of the country agreeing on anything. They do agree on the idea of a negotiated peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Whether the majority would agree on a Russia peace deal with Ukraine where Ukraine has nothing to do with it, that might be a different question.
Hard to know. Harriet, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You think that would change things? All right, let's see in the chat. Do you care if Zelensky is involved in the discussion or not? Because he's going to be involved in the discussion. You're looking at a divorce settlement, and the United States is basically the mediator. So you don't sit both parties and say, okay, what do you want? All right, what do you want? No, what do you want? All right, now we'll go come talk to Zelensky. They say this, they want that. What do you think? They're going to talk to Zelensky. They're finding out what Putin wants. They're not going to put you in the same room at the same table. That's insane. No negotiation goes like that until it's ready to sign the papers. I want the house. I want the kids. I want the house. I want the dogs. Okay, you're not going to get the house. So what can we do here? I want the car. All right, so when you finally get it, then you come together, shake hands, maybe, and there's your deal. A good deal means neither side is happy. That's the perfect deal. I wanted the house, and she's like, I wanted the car, or I wanted the kids, whatever. But this insanity that the media puts out there is like, Zelensky's not getting a seat at the table. He's just not at this meeting, you morons.
That President Trump said this week. He did not say yes when he was asked if he sees Ukraine as an equal member in the peace process. He did say later that Ukraine would have a seat at the table. Have you been given any assurances that Ukraine will have an equal seat at the negotiating table?
So I will never accept any decisions between the United States and Russia about Ukraine.
Want to bet? Want to bet? Man, you want to play poker? I played a lot of poker. I'm going to tell you right now, yes, you will. You will have no choice but to accept that deal. You know, I'm sure that there'll be some concessions on both sides, but you're going to accept that deal. I would never accept any sort of deal unless I'm at the table. No, you will. I bet you everyone in this chat will be like, yeah, it's coming, and you will.
Never, and our people, never, and our adults and children and everybody. It can't be so. This is the war in Ukraine against us, and it's our human losses. And we are thankful for all the support, unity between USA, in USA, around Ukraine support, bipartisan unity, bipartisan support. We're thankful for all of this, but there is no any leader in the world who can really make a deal with Putin without us, about us.
Always, when we go to negotiation, what we do,
This is the Russian guy who's participating in the negotiations.
first of what we want to do is to listen to what our partners have to offer. When Presidents Trump and Putin talked over the phone, they agreed on the need to put aside the absurd period in the relationship between two great superpowers when they essentially didn't communicate at all.
He's talking about Biden. Got two major superpowers, and you want a war to end. Actually, they didn't want it to end. And so you never talked to Putin. The President of the United States, Joe Biden, never reached out and said, what can we do? There's no way you're going to settle something if you're not willing to discuss something with somebody. But you were too busy making sure everybody knew that Trump was Putin's puppet, and Tucker Carlson is Putin's puppet, and XYZ person is Putin's puppet, instead of calling him. Hey, Vlad, it's gone on long enough. We need to stop this. What are we going to do? Nope. But they're recognizing at least Trump is calling.
Aside from certain technical issues, and the presidents agreed that the dialogue should be restored and resumed on all matters that can somehow be settled with the contribution of the United States and Russia.
On defense,
all right, so here comes this dude, the new English prime minister, who I'm really convinced squats when he pees. I'm just saying. I've seen him walk through the pink parade and all this kind of stuff, but you don't scare anybody, bro. and I'm sure what he's about to say, when you hear this, you're like, that's not going to make Putin worried. Not worried about you. Nope, you've already shown your colors.
Clear the US is not going to leave NATO. But we Europeans will have to do more. The issue of burden sharing is not new, but it is now pressing. And Europeans will have to step up, both in terms of spending and the capabilities that we provide. On Ukraine, we're at the very early stage of the process. Europe must play its role. And I'm prepared to consider committing British forces on the ground alongside others if there is a lasting peace agreement. But there must be a US backstop.
So you guys got to do it. The United States has to guarantee this peace. It's not our fight. Why would we be your backstop? Are you telling me, like Trump has said about Canada, you can't take care of business? You, France, and Germany, you can't do anything over there? 3 big countries, and you can't take care of business. That's pretty sad. And you're letting Trump know in advance you can't negotiate. You can't do it.
Because a US security guarantee is the only way to effectively deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again. So I will go to Washington next week to meet President Trump and to discuss what we see as the key elements of a lasting peace. I spoke to President Zelensky on Friday, and will do so again in coming days. And we envisage a further meeting with European colleagues when I return from the US. In this moment, we have to recognise the new era that we are in, not cling hopelessly to the comforts of the past. It's time for us to take responsibility for our security, for our continent. And I've been clear today, Britain will take a leading responsibility.
So what do you need us for? What are you coming over to kiss the ring? You're coming over here to meet with President Trump about what you're going to do? I don't care what you do. Fix it. We're not going to give you any more. He's not giving you any money. Nope. Not going to happen. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see our boots on the ground. Nope, not going to happen. Take care of business. And by the way, here's a tariff with you to take with you on the way out.
We always have. Because Ukraine must have a secure future. Europe must have a secure future. Britain must have a secure future. And democratic values must prevail.
Okay, so what you're telling us is that you can't have a future without the United States. Can you imagine giving Trump that kind of hand? You need my protection, huh? Yeah. You need me to make sure that, Vlad here doesn't stomp all over little Zelensky again. Yeah. And you want me to do this because you guys can't do it. Right? That's what you're saying. Well, if I'm Donald Trump, the first thing is, what's in it for me? Because you told me what you need. You told me I need all this. All right, so A, what's in it for me? What's in it for America? What does America get because I got to go, if I'm Donald Trump, I say this, I got to go tell my people what we're doing, what I'm committing to. And my people are going to want to know what you get for agreeing to protect England and France and Germany. What did you get? I don't know what Trump will want. I'm not sure they can afford what he may want. You'll know when you see who's in the meeting when the guy comes here. I bet you Scott Bessent is there, the Treasury Secretary. I bet you Howard Lutnick is in there. I bet you Secretary Wright, who's with Energy. Trump's going to get something. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something huge. Count on that. You want me to guarantee your safety. I mean, every time I watch this, it sounds more and more like a mob movie. I mean, doesn't it? You're going to go see The Godfather. Godfather, these guys keep stealing from me. And Godfather, what can I do? Will you please protect me, Godfather? Godfather, yeah, okay. I'll make him an offer he can refuse. But you're going to owe me a favor. What's the favor you people are going to have to pony up to make the Godfather protect you? If you're sitting back and you're Trump, I don't know, is it liquid natural gas? What is it that he is going to want to take on that burden, if at all? That's something we all got to see. Charlie Kirk put this out. He said, Europe wants America to fund the Ukraine war indefinitely, which costs us hundreds of billions of dollars while offering us no benefit. But now that Trump has proposed a peace deal that would end the fighting and be maintained by stationing European but not U.S. troops along the ceasefire line, naturally countries like Germany that have howled about Putin being the next Hitler, who must be stopped at all costs, are now flinching from the idea of doing anything themselves to keep the peace. This is a continent of freeloaders. They don't have any means to protect their butts. They know if the United States says no, there's no way they could, as much as they talk crap about, we could take on Putin, we can make that happen. Yeah, we can do it. Putin, he will not, blah, blah, blah. And now you're at this position where you're like, we can't stop him. If he gets mad, we're screwed. please help us, because your countries are feckless. Your countries have nothing. I cannot believe that you allowed what happened to Germany and England and France. France, never mind. France throw some cheese at them. Those are three countries that have sovereignty, but no way to protect their sovereignty. They need us. What are they going to have to pay for us to get involved? They're desperate. Oh, they're freaking out. Why is Europe in a complete panic over Ukraine? Ursula von der Leyen, who's one of the biggies over there, just arrived in Paris for crucial talks. Europe's security is a turning point. Yes, it is about Ukraine, but it's also about us. We need an urgency mindset. We need a surge in defense, and we need both of them now. You just now realizing that? I mean, think about it. You're the president of the EU, and you're just today, on February 17th, realizing, oh, we need a sense of urgency. We need to, what'd she say? We need a surge in defense. Oh, and we need both of them right now. You're just now today realizing, oh, crap. What happens if? You see, Joe Biden isn't here. Joe Biden's not ringing a bell for you. And you're absolutely screwed. Absolutely screwed. And you're giving Trump the advantage in negotiations. You're telegraphed it. Just imagine if you were Donald Trump right now. You're going to have a meeting with these big countries. Germany, England, France, the EU, knowing full well they can't really depend on their existence without the United States. That is huge. We don't exist without the United States. If the United States doesn't back us up and other countries don't know, other bad countries don't know the United States is a part of our backup, we're toast. We're sitting ducks for anybody who wants to take a shot at us. They now know this.
Good morning to you.
Great to be with you.
So let's talk about the freak out on the world stage. The president is trying to start a negotiation to end the war. He talked about this on the campaign trail, and yet they're freaking out. And I guess the question is why?
I don't think they ever believed President Trump would really do this. I mean, President Trump has said his legacy is as a peacemaker. So what's he trying to do? He's trying to bring a rapid end to the Ukraine war. The Europeans, and frankly the Biden administration, for years has said we can't have a negotiated solution to that Ukraine war because we can't trust Putin. Therefore, let's not negotiate. Therefore, America, we expect you to shoulder the burden of any defense Ukraine is going to do. And for the British Prime Minister and the French president should be saying, look, America, you got to do more. When they're not willing to do more, it's just the height of hypocrisy.
Yeah, so to that point, this is what the UK Prime Minister is saying. He said, it's clear Europe must take a greater role in NATO as we work with the United States to secure Ukraine's future and face down the threat we face from Russia. So he's saying that he's willing to send troops to Ukraine. President Trump has already said that's not an option for the American military, though, right?
No, come on. I mean, first of all, the Prime Minister of Great Britain is the one who's cutting their defense budget. So put your money where your mouth is. If you really expect that you're going to play a major role in defense of Europe, you ought to be contributing to the NATO budget. You ought to be increasing your defense spending. And that's the suggestion that the British are going to put troops on the border of Ukraine or troops in Ukraine is what troops? Really? You don't really have that big a military anymore. And the thing that you're going to do it somehow without NATO, you're going to act on your own to send a military you really don't have that much of to a war that you can't possibly win. Again, I think it's just hot air they're blowing.
If everybody knows you got nothing, how are you going to pretend like you got something?